Alex Honnold, Adam Ondra, Magnus Smitherbow. What do these people have in common? Other than being some of the people I respect most, they are some of the best rock climbers in the world. You might vaguely know what rock climbing is, or maybe even have experienced it on a playground as a kid. But today, I'm going to be walking you through how to do it like a pro. Specifically, indoor bouldering, which is a branch of climbing that's done indoors that requires no protective equipment in terms of harnesses. Today, there's going to be a few things you're going to need to be aware of if you want to try out rock climbing. The first one being the different kind of holds that there are. Then I can't talk about the different kind of holds without talking about the different kind of hand positions and grips that are most ideal for each kind. Finally, to end, beyond just the immense joy you receive from rock climbing, there's also a clear physical and mental benefit from it. So then, now that we all know the route for today, let's chalk up and get to climbing. Before we can hop on the wall, we have to first understand what we're looking at. With the help of REI, I'm going to be going over the most commonly found holds, which are jugs, crimps, slopers, pinches, and pockets. Jugs, which are the most common of the holds, are what you'll usually see on beginner routes. They're large, making it easy for anybody to grab onto in really any way. Then there's crimps, which are the exact opposite. They're a lot smaller, which limits how much of your hand you can actually fit onto the hold. Then there are slopers, which pose a new problem. With these, they're round and circular, making you grab onto it differently. Then there are pinches, which you have to grab onto just as the name implies as a pinch. These in particular can have a lot of variation and might end up being used differently. Then, lastly, we have the pocket hold, which is almost like a crimp, but instead of having your full hand on it, you're limited to how much of your fingers you can put on. It's important to know that with all these holds, there's a lot of variation in all of them, and depending on the difficulty of the boulder problem, as they're sometimes called. The difficulty of a boulder problem is dependent on a few different criteria, some of which being the length of the problem, how many holds there are, what moves are needed to complete it, as well as how good the holds are. When saying how good the hold is, I'm not referring to the quality of it, but rather how easy it is to hold on to. Now then, since we know about all the different kind of holds, let's grab onto them with Sport Rock. For jugs, it's quite simple. As I said before, since it's so large, this is one of the holds that you'll see on beginner routes, making it so obviously for beginners, is going to be easier for them to grab onto since it's a lot larger. For crimps, you have to use a new technique, which is called the standard half crimp position. With this, you want to put your fingers together as tightly as you can and then fold them down, making a 90-degree angle. Using this method, you're able to grab onto the edge a lot easier than using another way. With slopers, you want to assume an open hand grip, which involves spreading your fingers out and then placing it on the hold. This creates the most surface area on the hold, making more friction, allowing you to not slip off. Then with pinches, it's pretty self-explanatory because you just have to pinch the hold. You just have your thumb alone on one of the sides. Then, with pocket holds, we're brought to again lastly. It's the same as the crimp, except you're limited to how many fingers you can put on the hold personally. Sometimes it might depend. On more difficult routes, you'll be able to put less, and on easier routes, you'll be able to put more. Now that we've looked at everything on the wall, let's talk off of it. Time magazine shows off the impressive list of benefits that come from rock climbing. Getting the obvious benefits out of the way, which is the strength gain while rock climbing. Many people after their first time rock climbing are going to experience a lot of soreness in places they didn't imagine they could be sore in the day after. More specifically, your forearms are going to feel burnt because of the muscles activated, which normally aren't in everyday life. I have friends who have personally shared them this experience after taking them on their first time rock climbing. People who have climbed for a while can tell you about the flow state engaged while rock climbing. It's a state of euphoria where everything feels absolutely perfect and dialed in. While these times make for the best while rock climbing, it's important to know that there's still a sense of happiness felt all throughout the community that absolutely everybody can feel no matter their level. This is why research shows that rock climbing can be therapeutic and ease problems from daily life struggles. Now that we've gone over that main point about how climbing can resolve your problems, let's finish off this lesson. Today, you are now able to analyze any problem in front of you knowing the different kind of holds. You're also able to select the best hand position and grip for those holds. And most importantly, you've now been made aware of the physical and mental benefits from rock climbing. Rock climbing isn't an easy thing to do, and you might find yourself feeling frustrated or defeated even. But finally achieving a route and finishing a problem you've been working on for a while is something incomparable to anything else. Thinking back to that same moment as a kid on a playground, climbing up a wall for the first time, or even swinging on some monkey bars, the feeling felt in that moment and climbing for real now remains the same. It's a way to just enjoy yourself, help take your mind off things. Now, with this newfound knowledge, what will you climb next?